The WASP pilots were so vital to the war effort because the women's air service pilots would take aircraft that were being manufactured and ferry them and deliver them to the units where they would be assigned to, so that the men, of course, would take these aircraft into the combat zones. But the women air service pilots did such an incredible job of getting these aircraft to and from the manufacturers, very, very vital to the war effort. And this particular aircraft you're seeing flying here today, this AT-6, actually trained those WASP pilots in Texas, and the aircraft is painted in the original markings of the training facility there in Texas. So this AT-6, definitely a World War II veteran, coming back in from your left this time as the C-47 cranks up her engines. Now we should get a little break from the T-6 as we take a good look at that classic World War II aircraft. There's the break. The T-6 had an extremely long service life with the armed forces. Again, it was our only advanced single-engine training aircraft used during the war. Of course, during World War II, all aircraft were given letter and number designations to help identify them. AT-6 stands for Advanced Training Aircraft, Advanced Training Aircraft number 6. C, of course, for cargo, B for bomber. But interestingly enough, during World War II, fighters weren't F-51s, they were P-51s. P stood for pursuit aircraft. Throttling forward now, the C-47. This aircraft painted up the markings of the United States Air Force, which did not become a separate entity until 1947. Prior to that, the Air Force was incorporated into the Army. That's why it's called the Army Air Corps. So the United States Air Force celebrated this year. Again, they became a separate entity in 1947. All right, get your cell phones ready. Used to say cameras. We don't say that much anymore. Okay? I mean, these guys basically had a compass, they had an altimeter, just a few basic things. And I mean, to fly over the Pacific where there's no reference points whatsoever other than just radio signals and your compass, and for them to fly and attack a target they couldn't see when they lifted off, absolutely amazing, the skill of these pilots in performing what they did during World War II. The C-47 coming back in. Again, this is the military designation for this aircraft in the Army Air Corps. If you were in the Navy during World War II, you call this aircraft an R-4D. Again, with unlike many civilian aircraft, at the outbreak of World War II, they were converted for military use. Of course, originally, again, the DC-3, originally designed as an airliner, but of course, at the outbreak of the war, every resource is needed, and they quickly were manufactured as cargo aircraft, known as flaps down for an approach here at Yeager Airport. And again, if you're interested in keeping these aircraft in the air, you can talk to members of the flight crews, the Yankee Air Museum, the Commemorative Air Force, all here today. These aircraft, again, are restored by volunteers who put time and effort into getting these aircraft back into flying condition. And what's really awesome is not only just flying condition, but they work very hard at getting these aircraft to look just like they did when they were in service in the military, inside and out. Here comes the flagship Detroit. She'll be taxed again. And now, again, I want to remind you, if you'd like to support that, the flagship Detroit, you can buy a one-year membership to help support this aircraft, and that will entitle you to a flight later on this afternoon. There's a nice sight right there. Two DC-3s side by side. You don't see that much anymore.
Thanks.